Most of the girls who marry before 18 do so because there's a lack of viable alternatives. The best alternative is to keep the girls in school, but it's not always feasible. You may have the schools being far away. You may have the schools being too costly to attend. You may have the schools being of low quality, which means that parents will have a hard time making the financial sacrifices that are necessary for the girls and the boys to remain in school. It's not so much an issue that in many contexts parents do not want to do the best for their daughters. They do, but often there is no alternative. Then it may be that parents lead their daughters to be married at a young age. And many parents try to protect their daughters, actually. But the largest cost for child marriage was related to fertility. What happens is that if you marry early, you are going to have, on average, more children over your lifetime. And that has huge implications in terms of poverty rates, in terms of GDP per capita, and so on. And we have a large cost because if you have many more mouths to feed, for example, in your household, that will lead you to have lower levels of consumption per person, you're going to be poorer. The second largest cost is earnings. Child marriage is not the only reason why girls drop out of schools. There are other reasons, but it's an important reason in many countries. You often have 20–30% of the girls who drop out of school who do so because of child marriage or pregnancy. When girls have lower levels of education, they tend to earn much less in adulthood. They don't have access to the same jobs, they are not as qualified, so you have a large loss in earnings. I'm optimistic in general, and in quite a few countries, you have a large decrease over the last 20 years or so. You have quite a few other countries where there has been a lot of progress. I think there has been a shift in many countries in terms of the thinking, and there has been a realization that it was feasible to reduce dramatically and hopefully end child marriage, and the benefits would be very, very large for the countries.
My name is Pam Strawbridge, and I've been in this office for almost 40 years. I started in the collector's office in 1977. I came in this office in January of 1980 and been here ever since. We've had a lot of marriages since 1980. What bothers me is 14 and 15-year-olds coming in here to get a marriage license and get married, because I really just don't think that they are experienced enough. They don't even know what marriage is. You haven't even got your driver's license yet at 15. And marriage is supposed to be a lifetime thing. And, you know, if you have to get your mom or dad to sign for you, you know, that tells you something, you know. In Tennessee and Arkansas, which are bordering states, you can't get married at 15. So instead of staying there in their states, they just come to Missouri, get their marriage license, get married, and then go back to their states, which doesn't seem fair or right either, you know. If you can't get married in that state, then you shouldn't get married. Is that not as important, being married, as being able to vote and drink liquor? I don't know. Maybe just they don't think it is important. And I mean, I didn't either. I got married at 19. I still didn't know all that. Really, you don't know what kind of life these teens have had already. with their mother and father or grandmother and grandfather, you know. I know a lot of them have grown up a lot differently than I did. I had a mother and father. They knew how to take care of their kids. We didn't have a lot, but we had love, and we knew that. And I don't know that all of these do. I mean, they just come from a bad home, a lot of them, I think. I think very few of them do finish high school after they get married. You can't learn everything in school. There's some things you have to learn at home. And if you don't learn it at home, what do you have, you know? You know, I wanted to tell them those things, but that's not my business, you know. I'm here to sell marriage license and issue marriage license, and that's what I do. But if they do all the steps that it takes to get a marriage license, I can't refuse. I have to issue the marriage license. Like I say, it's not really what I want to do, but I do. Who knows if they're going to mess up their lives. Maybe it's going to make it better, you know. I hope that it's going to make it better. But that's not what I think. I think, oh no, here's another one going to get married so young. It's just too young to me. It's not something I would want for my child. And I can't understand it sometimes why the parents do. But like I say, you never know what kind of family they're coming from.
Okay, Kathleen Burns. I live in Dyersburg, Tennessee. I work all the time, take care of my baby and the husband, hang out with my buddies. That's about it. Well, I met him about when I was like 13, 14. They lived next door to me and hung out with his family and his friend or his sisters, and I don't know, we just kind of started becoming friends, and I got attached to him. I had probably a little crush, you know what I'm saying? And he couldn't never keep a girlfriend because they didn't like me being around them. So one thing after another, after a few years, we just kind of ended up together. I got pregnant underage, and that was kind of what had us go ahead and get married so I wouldn't send him to jail. A lot of people looked down on him for it and stuff. That's kind of why he didn't want to do this at first, you know, but like I told him, I don't care what anybody thinks. I love him, you know. It is what it is. I mean, we're like any other marriage couple. We've had our problems. I mean, we split up. I went and stayed with them for a little bit, but we just know we want to live with each other. We want to be with each other, you know what I mean? So we worked through our problems. I couldn't live without them. My mom was against it. She was like, you know, y'all shouldn't have done it. You can take your consequences for it. Me and my mom ended up having a lot of problems, you know. But she stuck by me through everything, so I love that woman to death. Head cook at Neil's Barbecue. I just kind of stuck around, you know, stayed, unlike everybody else, and he just kept moving me up, giving me raises, so I stayed there. I did not graduate. After I had Zena, got hard to get a babysitter and stuff, needed money. Candace got me the job, I just dropped out. And they kind of just let me slip through the cracks. I made it to 11th grade. I had one more year and should have finished it out, honestly. I regret that every day. Eventually I'll get my GED, but growing up life is really hard, so you know. Well, before I married, honestly, I was a kid, so there was really no bills. I don't really miss nothing about it except just having to grow up and do the adult thing, man. It's hard. It is hard, but other than that, I don't really miss nothing, you know. I'm fine with how everything turned out with me. Zena, my little girl, she is my pride and joy, and I will do everything to take care of her and protect her, so. My mama always asked me if I would let her get with somebody older. No, I probably won't, because, you know, we did have a lot of issues through it put me through a lot, mentally and physically, and I would not let my daughter do that. Probably marrying young, yeah, no, it'd be a no. Just because I know where I'm at right now from making them decisions. I don't know, I should have waited. I truly believe that. I should have waited, but things came up. I should have waited on having the baby, you know, because you really do need to be 18, in my opinion. You need to be grown up. You need to have your childhood. I lost all of my childhood. I do regret you know, not finishing school, growing up way too fast. You know, that's just stuff you shouldn't do when you're a kid, honestly. I see that all now. I didn't see it then, though, so, and you can't change it.
My name is Ashley Duncan. I'm 25. I live in Steele, Missouri. I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I'm a Christian. I have 4 boys. I have a 7-year-old, an 8-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 4-year-old. I got married when I was 15. I just found out I was pregnant not long before I got married, because I got married in February, and I found out I was pregnant in the late January. I met Daniel on a school bus. I was actually 14 when I met him. He was like very quiet and mysterious, and I guess my 15-year-old brain was into quiet and mysterious. We got together. We had talked about it to get married, but we never actually said that it was going to be something that I did, because I was pregnant and I was 15, Daniel was 18, and my family had believed that in the state of Missouri that if you are over 18 and have intercourse with anybody under 18 that it was statutory rape or something. So they had told us that he would go to jail whenever I had my child. I was pregnant and just going with what they told me to do. Didn't find out until last year that that's not the law here in Missouri. So I could have had my child without him going to jail. So I was coming home from school. I just found out I was pregnant. My aunt got on the bus and she told me to get off the bus, that I was going to go get married that day. All I can remember is hearing all the kids gasp and was like, she's too young. We went to the courthouse and got our marriage license. And then we went to a preacher's house here in Steele, and he married us. I don't think either one of us realized how big of a commitment we were making then. I know that day I think I was happy, but I know there was definitely fear and doubt in my mind. I mean, I was happy that I was about to do what I thought was start a family, and I was excited more for the future than I think I was for the present. We fought a lot, and we eventually split up, and I didn't go back. You know, when you're young, you tend to believe people when they tell you that they love you, and then you also tend to listen to people when they tell you to do things. So I dropped out of school whenever I found out I was a few months pregnant. I haven't really had much studying since then. I had a lot of friends. I had a lot of sleepovers. I was always talking to my friends, always doing something with them. And whenever I decided to get married, friends didn't really come around anymore. A few months after I got married, my cousin got married. She was also 15. She was 2 months younger than me. And then my other cousin, he got married at the end of that year, and he was 16. I wasn't the first one in Steele to get married. I knew. It happens more often than not. I can name at least 4 from my school, besides my family. Now I feel like I wasted so much of my life, and it didn't have to happen. Just wish people would realize what they were doing. I mean, I don't regret my kids at all. Just wished I would have done things differently.